When we think of the U.S. presidency, we often focus on the men in the Oval Office. But right beside them, throughout history, have stood remarkable women who shaped the role of First Lady in unique ways. From style and grace to political activism and social reform, each First Lady left her mark on the country in her own right. Let's take a journey through the history of all 50 U.S. First Ladies, beginning with the earliest days of the nation. Martha Washington, the wife of the first president, George Washington. She set the tone for the role, hosting social events but keeping a low political profile. Abigail Adams, the wife of the second president, John Adams. Known for her letters to her husband, she was an advocate for women's rights and abolition. Martha Jefferson Randolph, the daughter of the third president, Thomas Jefferson. She stepped into the role after Jefferson's wife, Martha, had passed away before his presidency. Dolly Madison, the wife of the fourth president, James Madison. Famous for her social grace and saving a portrait of George Washington during the War of 1812. Elizabeth Monroe, the wife of the fifth president, James Monroe. Known for her European-inspired fashion and her role in redecorating the White House. Louisa Adams, the wife of the sixth president, John Quincy Adams. Born in England, she was the only First Lady not born in the U.S. until Melania Trump. Emily Donaldson, the niece of the seventh president, Andrew Jackson. She served as First Lady after Jackson's wife, Rachel, passed away before his inauguration. Sarah Jackson, the daughter-in-law of Andrew Jackson. She shared duties with Emily Donaldson later in Jackson's presidency. Angelica Van Buren, the daughter-in-law of the eighth president, Martin Van Buren. She handled First Lady duties since Van Buren was widowed. Anna Harrison, the wife of the ninth president, William Henry Harrison. She never moved into the White House as her husband died just 1 month into his presidency. Letitia Tyler, the first wife of the 10th president, John Tyler. She was the First Lady to die while her husband was in office. Julia Tyler, the second wife of John Tyler. She was known for hosting grand balls and her love of music. Sarah Polk, the wife of the 11th president, James K. Polk. A devout Presbyterian, she banned dancing and drinking in the White House. Margaret Taylor, the wife of the 12th president, Zachary Taylor. She was reclusive, leaving many public duties to her daughter, Betty Bliss. Abigail Fillmore, the wife of the 13th president, Millard Fillmore. She helped establish the White House Library. Jane Pierce, the wife of the 14th president, Franklin Pierce. Grieving the loss of her children, she largely avoided public life. Harriet Lane, the niece of the 15th president, James Buchanan. She acted as First Lady for the only bachelor president. Mary Todd Lincoln, the wife of the 16th president, Abraham Lincoln. Known for her eccentric style and political involvement during the Civil War. Eliza Johnson, the wife of the 17th president, Andrew Johnson. She was mostly out of the public eye due to illness. Julia Grant, the wife of the 18th president, Ulysses S. Grant. She encouraged the construction of the White House Conservatory. Lucy Hayes, the wife of the 19th president, Rutherford B. Hayes. She was known as Lemonade Lucy for banning alcohol in the White House. Lucretia Garfield, the wife of the 20th president, James A. Garfield. She remained by his side after he was shot, becoming a symbol of devotion. Ellen Arthur, the wife of the 21st president, Chester A. Arthur. She passed away before her husband took office. Mary McElroy, the sister of Chester A. Arthur. She took on First Lady duties since Arthur was a widower. Frances Cleveland, the wife of the 22nd and 24th president, Grover Cleveland. She was the youngest First Lady, marrying Cleveland at 21. Caroline Harrison, the wife of the 23rd president, Benjamin Harrison. She advocated for women's rights and oversaw the White House renovation. Mary Harrison McKee, the daughter of Benjamin Harrison. She stepped in as First Lady after her mother's death. Ida McKinley, the wife of the 25th president, William McKinley. She was known for her poor health, which shaped her time as First Lady. Edith Roosevelt, the wife of the 26th president, Theodore Roosevelt. She expanded the White House by adding the West Wing. Helen Taft, the wife of the 27th president, William Howard Taft. She brought the iconic cherry blossoms to Washington, D.C. Ellen Wilson, the first wife of the 28th president, Woodrow Wilson. She advocated for slum clearance in Washington. Edith Wilson, the second wife of Woodrow Wilson. She ran much of the government after her husband's stroke, making her one of the most powerful First Ladies. Florence Harding, the wife of the 29th president, Warren G. Harding. She supported veterans' rights and animal rights. Grace Coolidge, the wife of the 30th president, Calvin Coolidge. Known for her warmth and charm, she was beloved by the public. Lou Hoover, the wife of the 31st President, Herbert Hoover. She advocated for women's athletics and was a translator of Latin texts. Eleanor Roosevelt, the wife of the 32nd President, Franklin D. Roosevelt, a civil rights advocate and one of the most influential first ladies in U.S. history. Bess Truman, the wife of the 33rd President, Harry S. Truman. She was Truman's closest advisor and disliked the public spotlight. Mamie Eisenhower, the wife of the 34th President, Dwight D. Eisenhower, known for her love of pink and her role in modernizing the White House's social events. Jacqueline Kennedy, the wife of the 35th President, John F. Kennedy, a cultural icon, she restored the White House and promoted American arts. Lady Bird Johnson, the wife of the 36th President, Lyndon B. Johnson, an environmental advocate. She championed the Beautify America campaign. Pat Nixon, the wife of the 37th President, Richard Nixon. She promoted volunteerism and historic preservation. Betty Ford, the wife of the 38th President, Gerald Ford. Known for her openness about breast cancer and addiction, she founded the Betty Ford Center. Rosalind Carter, the wife of the 39th President, Jimmy Carter, a strong advocate for mental health and often attended cabinet meetings. Nancy Reagan, the wife of the 40th President, Ronald Reagan, known for her Just Say No drug prevention campaign and close advisory role to her husband. Barbara Bush, the wife of the 41st President, George H.W. Bush. A champion of literacy, she was admired for her down-to-earth style. Hillary Clinton, the wife of the 42nd President, Bill Clinton. She redefined the role of First Lady by playing an active political role, particularly in healthcare reform. Laura Bush, the wife of the 43rd President, George W. Bush. A former librarian, she promoted education and literacy around the world. Michelle Obama, the wife of the 44th President, Barack Obama. She promoted healthy eating and exercise with her Let's Move initiative. Melania Trump, the wife of the 45th President, Donald Trump. She launched the Be Best initiative, focusing on children's well-being and online safety. Jill Biden, the wife of the 46th President, Joe Biden. A lifelong educator, she made history as the first First Lady to hold a paying job while in office.